Hello, I'm Rekha Menon. I'm the Chairman and Managing Director for Accenture in India.
And hello, this is Mridu Bhandari. On this special conversation series, I catch up with eminent industry leaders to discuss business and life in the times of a global pandemic. Rekha, thanks very much for joining us today. Accenture, of course, is one of the largest employers in the IT space in India. How have you really navigated the pandemic in terms of ensuring employee safety, ensuring business continuity, and of course, keeping customer engagements alive?
Well, we had the advantage of being one of the most digitally enabled enterprises in the world because, for example, we are the largest users of Microsoft Teams across 500,000 employees, and about 95% of our IT infrastructure is in the cloud. And we were tracking it closely. So when the lockdown happened, we were able to mobilize and move a majority of our 200,000 people to a remote working environment fairly rapidly and fairly seamlessly. And of course, our people come first. Our first thought was, how do we keep our people safe and are they healthy? So that was our number one priority. Number two was clients. And I have to say, under these very extraordinary circumstances, our people continue to engage and deliver to clients and drive innovation virtually in very new, different ways than we had done before, and continue to run very essential services across the globe, whether it was supporting some of the largest health services or telecom companies or banks. So overall, agile and innovative and responded quickly.
Right. All right. And as a large consulting and tech major, you're in touch with companies across the spectrum. How are most of your clients responding to this crisis? How has technology really helped them stay afloat through the pandemic?
So two buckets. First bucket was the immediate reaction to the lockdown pandemic. There it's more about business resilience, right? How do I stay resilient? How do I keep my business going? How do I ensure my workforce can be productive? How do I leverage collaboration tools? What infrastructure do I need to support this? Safety and security. How do we protect ourselves and our data, right? As we go digital, how do we manage supply chain disruption? So those are the kind of things our clients were thinking about and are thinking about for the immediate term. Then looking a little ahead, it's about, we are seeing actually businesses accelerate their digital reinvention program. You know, the kind that they've been thinking about for a while. COVID is actually accelerating 10 years of digital transformation in 6 months. The second issue we are seeing is, how do we change our structural costs? And how do we use technology to find our benefits? So that's the second big theme our clients we are seeing. And the third theme is, which is a little more future looking, is really about reimagining the business. Because there are new business models, you have to reimagine the customer experience. There are also new opportunities that they are looking at, right? And they're all looking at creative ways to get there.
Right, right. And what are your sector agnostic or scale agnostic mantras or advice that you're giving to businesses to come out stronger and more resilient from this crisis?
That's a broad question, but okay. There's a lot of actions that business can take. So let me just take three quick ones as immediate priorities, and then maybe three as slightly longer term. So the immediate one, of course, is put your people first, right? Because this is a time where we need to relook at collaboration and work with compassion and trust and create safe work environments, etc. Second would be accelerate your digital transformation now. And I will say that because we are in that business, but accelerate your digital transformation to be future ready. And the third would be, look at your operations to make them more, how do you create a more cost elastic structure? So that would be the three things which would be agnostic of any area. And then for the longer term, and this is slightly broader, I would take one massive shift only, which is actually, we've seen the largest behavioral change at a scale that we've seen in our history, right? And it will have lasting implications because all the investment efforts, the new habits we've all developed in recent weeks are not going to disappear after the pandemic. There is going to be a lasting impact, and that creates new opportunities.
Indeed, a lot of our behavior is going to change for good. And I want to talk to you about the impact that is going to have on workforces. The COVID crisis is causing large-scale workforce and workplace disruptions. We are all talking of this new normal that we are all yet to see. But social distancing, remote working, these are concepts that might be here to stay for good. So what should companies do to really adapt themselves to these changes very quickly?
And you're right. I mean, besides focusing on growth, organizations have to meet their obligations to their people and to the communities around them at times like this. So actually, responsible leadership gets a big, deep meaning at this stage. And the second point I want to make as part of that is the problems are big and no one is going to solve these problems alone. So actually, collaboration and multi-sector partnerships are key.
Right, absolutely. Well, Accenture as a company and you in particular, of course, have also been a champion of diversity and inclusion in the workplace, equal opportunities for all. How do you see the COVID crisis impacting this? Do you think it will worsen conditions for already marginalized communities, also for women? What should the collective focus of India Inc. be on?
So, as we've seen, any calamity hits the weaker sections of society, and COVID-19 crisis has been no different. It's the weaker who get hit. And at Accenture, we take a very wide lens of inclusion and diversity. Whether it's religion or caste or creed or sexual orientation. But since you asked about women, let's just focus on women, right? So in India, the women's labor force participation is already lower than 30%. So it's already low. And there are many social cultural reasons for it. And the pandemic, I suspect, will make things worse. Because if I see the services sector is amongst the hardest hit by COVID-19, right? And that's where a lot of women work, whether it's hospitality or retail or tourism, right? And that may render many women out of work. And on the other side, even where they can, social culture actually make it very hard for women to work from home. So even where women can work from home, their productivity is not going to be the same as men because as primary caregivers, women are facing huge pressures to fulfill their responsibilities, both their home responsibilities and their work responsibilities, but literally at the same time, right?
Right.
But at the same time, there are potential opportunities because one, just the work from home model, if it becomes a viable model, it can open many more options for women, especially in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, or provide flexible hours, right? So opportunities could open up.
Right.
Or as learning becomes more digitized, it can remove the barriers to learning. So more women could learn and come into the workforce. And as I talked about new business models emerging, which are enabled by digital, whether it's education or microfinance or healthcare, women could take up these roles. So it's not all doom and gloom, right? But as a collective, we'll all have to, whether it's government or businesses or NGOs, we'll have to think through these issues and develop strategies that can not just address the gaps, but actually so that we can leverage the talent and the economic potential of half our workforce in India.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, finally, as a virtual or a remote leader, what has been your single biggest learning from this pandemic?
My single biggest learning from this pandemic is actually not just single biggest, many, but a few have been: one, how little I need. That's one. And two, has really been that how much more important is family and close friends than ever before.
Right. And in terms of leadership, what's been your big leadership lesson from this?
Is that we have to stay compassionate and connected because this is a time it's not just about business. It is really about taking care of our people. And the only way we can do it if as a leadership team, we're working together. And second, it's about learning about leadership resilience and dealing with ambiguity. And the third is actually in the middle of ambiguity, looking to the future.
Right. Right. Great. Rekha Menon, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thanks very much for joining us here. That's a wrap of this special conversation. Until next time, thanks for joining us. Goodbye.